Let's get started with our module 2. In this module, we will walk through Sickly interface, our first demo, Hello World, Sickly system design, Sickly classes like region, app, settings, environment, pattern, match, and their methods. We will see different practical demos for those classes and methods. Let's start with the Sickly interface. Let me navigate to the folder where we have installed our Sickly. In our case, it is Sickly setup. So after successful installation, you will see one jar file named sicklyx, that is nothing but our sicklyx IDE. Double click on that to open the IDE. Let us wait for the IDE to open. This is Sickly interface. Sickly IDE integrates screen capturing and a custom text editor to optimize the usability of writing a Sickly script. On the left, you can see all the frequently used functions and classes. On the top, if you see in this row, there are multiple classes available which makes the work easier. From here, you can take the screenshot of the GUI component you want to automate. So like if you will click on this and take a screenshot of Windows, it will paste the Windows on our text editor, and we can use this image to automate that GUI component in our script. You can also insert image already saved on your computer by clicking on this button, that is insert image. You can set up and maintain visual workflows including capturing and organizing the needed images using the sicklyx IDE. To run the script, you can use this button run. And if you want to see all the steps in detail, then you can use the button run in slow motion. All your script execution messages will be displayed in this message area. In case of error, it will be shown in red. sicklyx IDE, as you see, is very easy to understand and handle. Now let's get started with our first demo, that is nothing but the Hello World. Like any other languages, for Sickly also we will start with Hello World basic demo. In this demo, we will see how to automate the action of clicking on the start menu and then type Hello World in this search box. So what exactly we are doing is we are clicking on the start menu and then typing Hello World. So we want to automate those actions. So we will make a script which will click on the start menu and then type Hello World in text area without our intervention. So first action requires Sickly to click on the Windows button. So let's use click function. You can also use functions from the left pane. So our first is click. So let's click on click function, and then it will disable the screen to take the screenshot. Drag a box over Windows button, so it will automatically paste the image in the function. After that, clicking on the start menu, we want to type Hello World in the search box. So we will use the type function. Type function will be in keyboard actions. So let's click on type, and our text is Hello World. So now let's run the script. Before running, let's save it. So to save all the Sickly scripts, let us make a new folder, Sickly scripts. Let's navigate to the desktop and create a new folder to store all our Sickly scripts. So I will create a Sickly scripts folder. Now let's go back to the Sickly IDE and then select the folder, that is Sickly scripts. In that folder, give a name. Our demo is Hello World demo. So let's type Hello World and let's save it. So if you see, it has clicked on start menu and then type hello world. So if you want to see in slow motion, then you can see run in slow motion. So it will click on start menu and hello world. If you want to see more slower, then you can put the wait function in between. So let's use the wait command. Wait will accept the parameters in two formats. It can accept the parameters as image also, like if particular image appears on the screen till script has to wait. Otherwise, you can give simple for number which will be in seconds. So as of now, let's give number. Let's ask CiCLScript to wait for 2 seconds. And after typing also, if you want the screen to wait, then you can use wait function afterwards. But as of now, let's wait in between so that we can see the actions in slow motion. So let's run it, save and run. It will click, then it will wait for 2 seconds and then it will write hello world. So this is how we can use the wait function. The other use of wait function we will see afterwards. So we have learned how to capture a screenshot of a GUI element and write a CiCLScript to click on that element and type some text in that element. So this is our first Hello World CiCLScript. Now let's see CiCLI system design. CiCLI system design. When we will save any script in CiCLI-X IDE, it will generate a .cicli script file, which is nothing but the directory that consists of the Python source file, that is .py, and all the images files, that is .png, used by the CiCLI script. All the images used in a CiCLI script are simply a path to the .png file that is stored in the .cicli bundle. Therefore, the Python source file can also be editable by any text editor. While saving a script using CiCLI-X IDE, extra HTML file is also created in the CiCLI directory so that all the users can share the scripts on the web easily. CiCLI-X IDE uses Python interpreter to run the CiCLI script, and it will auto import all the required Python APIs. Now let's see the structure of our recently created Hello World demo. Let's go to the path where we have stored Hello World. So we have created the Hello World script file. So as I have mentioned earlier, it will create a directory and that is nothing but the .cicli. So let me open that. In this, if you will see, there is one .py, that is Python source file. There will be the images used in the script. In our case, it will be the Windows button. It will be the Windows button which we have used, and one HTML file which we can share easily. Let me open the Python source file. Let's open it with Notepad. In this file, if you will see, this is nothing but the image name, and script simply will search for this image in that particular directory and then take the action accordingly. If you will see this HTML file, it is nothing but the whole R script pasted as HTML. So if you want to share it with someone, then we can share this HTML file. There is no need to share the whole directory. So it will be easier to share via HTML. And so for any script written in our IDE will have same structure like this and will be executed by Python interpreter. Now let's move forward to the CiCLI classes and methods. Let's start with the pattern classes. Patterns contain an image, information about an image, size of an image, similarity value, and target offset. For now, you can remember it stores an image. We will now create a basic calculator script that opens a calculator and multiply 2 by 2. Through this demo, we can go deeper into patterns. So let me navigate to the CiCLI-X IDE. What we want to automate is, I will first go down with the start menu and type calc to open the calculator and hit enter. So that would run our calculator. Inside the calculator type 2 multiply by 2 and equals, and we get the answer. So that's what our cyclic script is going to do. Let's see how. So our first two action will be similar as hello world. The first action involves clicking on the start menu. So let's use the click function here, and that will ask us to take a screenshot. Let's drag a box over Windows button. So after clicking, if you have noticed, there is a pop-up appears on the screen once we click on the start menu. So there is a delay between these two actions. So we have to make sure that every action should be taken once this pop-up appears on the screen. So to ensure that, we will use the function wait. And to disable this pop-up and take the screenshot of this, press escape, and after that take the screenshot of the start search box. So after that, we want to type calc inside the search box. So let's use the function type and calc, and then we have to hit the enter. So plus is the concatenation operator here, and to hit the enter we will use functional key. Please note that cyclic is case sensitive, so key should be in init cap and enter should be in capital. So that would run our calculator, but uh, once we click once we hit the enter after typing cal, there is a delay between hitting the enter and opening the calculator. So here also we have to ensure that all the actions of clicking the buttons will be taken once the calculator appears on the screen. So let's use the wait function again, and let's say drag a box over this pattern, so the script will wait for this pattern to appear on the screen. So once the calculator appear on the screen, we will start clicking buttons. So first we want to click on 2, so let's drag a box over 2. After 2 we want to click on multiplication, so drag a box over multiplication. um, let's click again, and this should not be hovered, please note that, because when we run our script, it is not compulsory that this image will be hovered. So please ensure that it should not be hovered. So let me take that again. Multiplication. After multiplication we want to click on 2 again, so we will take a screenshot of 2, and after that we want to click on equals, so equals. So our script is ready. It will click on Windows menu, then it will wait for the start search box to appear on the screen. After that it will type calc on this search box, and then hit enter. That would run our calculator, but it will wait for this pattern to appear on the screen. So indirectly it will wait for the calculator to appear on the screen, and once the calculator appears on the screen, it will click 2, then multiplication, then 2, and then equals. So this is how we will get our answer. So first let's save it. In this folder, let's save it as calculator demo, and then let's close this instance so that it will not open again, and now let's run it. Calc, yeah, so this is opening our calculator, 2 multiply 2 and equals. So if you will see in calculator, we get the answer. If you want to see in detail, then let's run in slow motion. So you can see all the detailed step here. Now let's see how Sickly acts is storing the information that we give. So let's navigate to the folder where we have stored our script. Here we have stored. So as we have mentioned earlier, it will create one directory that will be .sickly, and in this folder it will store one Python source file, one HTML file, and all the images used in the script. But if you have noticed that there are multiple images we have used in the screen which is duplicate, like this too. So that is not efficient. It is not efficient to use duplicate images. So this is how we can figure out that there is some issue with our script efficiency. So we can make it much more efficient. Let's see how we can make it much more efficient. As of now, we have used only image in pattern, but however, we can use other two features of pattern object, that is similarity and target offset. We can use these two features of pattern and take advantage of them to make our script more efficient. Similarity is a decimal value between 0 and 1, which is nothing but the percentage. Like consider 0.5 means 50% is similarity. So it is like if anything looks 50% is similar, the thing which we are looking for, then we can click on that. Target offset is nothing but the point to click on the image. So to understand these two features of the pattern and to make our scripts much more efficient, let's modify our previously created calc script. There is no need to change first two things as we want to click on the start and enter calc to open it. But after that we will remove all these lines to make our script much more efficient and to use lesser amount of images than this script. So let's open a calculator. If you will see all these buttons to multiplication equals, all this belongs to one section of area. So if we will select this area, it will have everything we want to add in our script. So let's wait for this section to appear on the screen. So let's use wait command and drag a box over the whole this section, which will cover all the buttons we need in our script. After that, we have to click on 2. So let's use the function click. Let's first copy this image so that we can use in our script. So let's and then paste it. So if the braces are missing, then add it. So now click on the image to set the similarity and target offset. So this is the pattern settings. So if you will navigate to the matching preview, this is our similarity feature. Here you can see more I will make it similar. If I will increase this, it will make more objects. Now let's make it 0.80, that is nothing but the 80 percentage as of now. And then let's navigate to the target offset. Here we want to click on 2. So let's set the target offset on 2. So target offset is like clicking a particular offset on the image. So it will click this offset on the image we have taken. So that is highlighted in red. So let's click on 2 and then OK. So if you will notice, there is one similarity value shown in the top corner. And now let's copy this and paste. Let's copy the whole click function because we want to copy our actions, and then If you will see here red, that is nothing but a target offset. But here the target offset will be multiplication. So let's set the target offset to multiplication. Similarity should be 80%. It is fine. So after that we want to click on again 2. So here it is already 2. Let's ensure that once again. So it is 2 only. So that is fine. And then we want to click on equal to. So let's click on that and set the target offset to equal to, and then OK. So it should be fine. Now let me close the calculator and let's give it a shot. Before that, let's save it. Let's save as another demo, so that we can compare this file to the original one and see how it is different from the original one. Now let's run it. So it has run successfully. Now let's see what is the difference between the structure of these two calculator versions. So here, if you have seen, there are multiple images used and there are duplicate images also, right? So let's see, in our case there is only 3 images. There are no overhead of images also. All the things is belongs to only one section, so we can use only one image. So it will make our work easier and our file smaller. So this is how we can make our script efficient, and we can use these two features of patterns, that is similarity and target offset. Now let's move forward to another class. Now let's see about the region classes. Region is nothing but the rectangular area on a screen. It has 4 parameters, that is x, y, w, h. X is the x position of the region, y is the y position of the region, w stands for the width of the region, and h stands for the height of the region. It knows nothing about its visual content like windows, pictures, graphics, text, whatever belongs to it. It only knows the position on the screen and its dimension. So let's see some methods of the region. Let's see how we can define the region and apply different region methods in Sickly X. So to define the region, we can use this region button. Let's click on that and select the region, this. So this is our selected region, that is highlighted in red. Now let's store this region in one variable so that we can apply different methods on that. So the selected region will be stored in this variable called region, reg, and now let's highlight it. So we can use the method highlight, and we will highlight it for 2 seconds. So our selected region will be highlighted for 2 seconds. So let's first save it and then run. Let's call it region demo and now run it. So it is highlighting the selected region for 2 seconds. Now other method we are going to see is above. Above method will select the region from above of the current region. So now let's highlight it for better understanding so that we can see what it is written. Now let's comment it. To comment in Sickly, we can use the hash sign. Now let's give 20. So what it will do is it will select the region having 20 pixels of height, and width will be same as the current selected region. Now let's see what it is doing. Save and run. So it is selecting the region from above the current region with height of 20 pixels. Now if we will omit this range, then it will select from top of the screen to the top of the border of the current region. Now let's see. See, it is selecting from top of the screen to the top of the border of the current region. Below is same as above, but instead of top, it will return the region from the bottom of the current region. Now let's see left. Here it will return the region from left of the selected region. So we are not giving any range as of now, so that we can see what it is returning. Let's save it and run. If you have noticed, the height will be same, but width will be different. So now let's give some 30 pixels, and now let's run it. Here the width will be restricted, so the width will be of 30 pixel, height will be same. So this is how we can see the left of the current region. The right will be same as left, but instead of left border, it will return the region from the right of the current one. Now there is one method called exist to see whether the particular pattern exists on that region. So let's see exist. As of now, we will print it. Otherwise, we can use in conditional statements and conditional loops. But as of now, we will just print it whether it is returning anything or not. So here we have to enter the pattern. We can also enter some text which it will try to match whether it is exists on that particular region or not. But we will use the pattern. So now let's take a screenshot and use this, like whether this calculator demo.sickly exists on a particular selected region. If it exists, then it will return one region attribute, the instance of the region. So it will have some location offset for that particular region. So now let's run it, save and run. See, it is returning one region instance. Now let's see if it does not exist, then what it will return. Dot exist. Take a screenshot of the windows or anything outside of the region, like I'm taking screenshot of this OneDrive. And now let's see what it is returning. If it does not exist on a particular selected region, then it will return none. So in this case also it should return none. Let's see what it is returning. Save and run. See, for this calculator demo, it is returning the region object. But for this OneDrive, that is not in our selected region, so it is returning none. So this is how we can use these methods in conditional statements and conditional loops to check whether some particular pattern exists in that region or not. We can also give some text. We also have find and find all method for region. We will see these methods later in this module. So the next class is match. An object of class match represents the result of successful find operation. The find function locates a particular GI element to interact with. It takes a visual pattern, searches the whole screen or part of the screen, and returns regions matching this pattern or an exception if no such region can be found. It knows the point of its upper left corner on an existing monitor where the pattern was found. Match extends region class, so all the methods used with region can be used with match class also. Find will return a class object of match if pattern found in screen. We will write a script to find one particular pattern on our screen. So let's create a script. Let's see how we can use find in our cycle. So find, what basically it will do is it will find for a particular pattern on our screen. So let's use the find here. You can click on this find, and then what we want to find is, let's see, we want to find a Google Chrome in our screen. So let's drag a box over Google Chrome, and then we want to click on that. So let me write click function. So what it will do is it will find for this pattern in the whole screen, and if it is found, then it will click on it. So let's see how it is running. Before that, let's save it. It will be match demo. So now let's run it. See, it has opened. Not opened, but it has clicked on that. So we can also use double click, right click. Let's use right click for that. Also we can use hover. Multiple functions we can use with find also. So now let's run it and save and run. See, it has right clicked on Google Chrome. Now let's see what it is storing in this find function. So let me copy this. Let's remove this right click and let us store this in a variable so that we can see what it is storing. Let's call a variable am, and let's print the variable to see what it is storing in that. So let's print. Now let's run it. Save and run. It has written the match coordinates. It is nothing but the match object. So what it is storing is it stores its coordinates, its xy coordinates, its location offset. So basically it has written the match object. Now there is another function that is nothing but the find all. Find all, what find all is doing is, in find all it will returns an iterator object that can be used to fetch all the found matches as match objects one by one. A reference to the iterator is stored in the respective region and can be accessed using region dot get last matches. This can be used to iterate all the matches we found by this find all function. We will see later the usage of this function, as this function includes the concepts of loops also that we are going to look afterwards. So let's put uh, find all on hold for a moment, and now let's move forward. Next is application class. Application class provides a convenient and flexible way to control the application and its windows. There are multiple functions and methods available for application, like open. Open is to open an application, we can use the open function. Then focus method will focus on a particular application. Then close will be used to close an application. There is another two functions that will check if the app is running and has a main window registered, and those are is running and has window. And another method that is focused window, that will identify the currently focused or the frontmost window and switch to it. Now let's see how we can use this function in practical scenario. So now let's navigate to the CiccliX IDE. To access the application class and its methods, we have to use app dot and then the method name. So we are going to use open method here. Now what we want to do is we want to open the Chrome. So the open will accept the path of the exe. So let's find the path of this Chrome exe. Let's open the file location and copy this path, and let me paste it here, and then it will be chrome.exe. In Windows, we have to put double slash to escape one slash. Now, what it will do is it will go to this location and run this chrome.exe, and it will open the Chrome for us. So first let's save it. It is our application demo. Now let's run it. It should open a Chrome. It has opened the Chrome. We can also define application in different way. Now let's call a variable my app and then define the app Chrome. So the Chrome app is stored in my app, and we can use different methods on this variable. So there are two methods available which will check whether the app is running or not, and whether the app is window or not. So first let's see is running. This will return a boolean value if the app, that in our case it is Chrome. If Chrome is running, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. There are multiple applications which runs in background, so they don't have window. So whether the app has window or not, we can check by using this function, that is myapp dot has window. So this is also same as is running. This will return a boolean value, and if the window present for that particular app, then it will return true, and if the window does not present, then it will return false. So now first let's run for this sentence. It has opened the Chrome again, and as the Chrome is running and it has window, both functions has written true. Now let's change the application name and let's put it Firefox. So in our case, Firefox is not running and its window is also not present, so both functions should return false. So now let's run it again. Let me put this in comment as of now, and let's run it. So no Firefox window is running, and so it both functions has written false. Now let us open the Firefox and run again. The Firefox is opened. So now let's run again, and both functions should have written true. So you can check this whether the window is running and has window by using this function. Now if we want to focus on our particular application, like if there are multiple windows available and we want to focus only on Firefox or Chrome, let's see Chrome, and then we want to focus on that Chrome, then we can use the method that is focus. So let's run it again. So it has focus. Like if our uh, focus is on this app and then we are going to run this, then it will transfer the focus to the Chrome. See, let me minimize this, and Chrome has got its focus. Now let's close it. So it has closed the Chrome. All the instance will be closed by this close function. Now if there are multiple windows available and if you want to switch to the front-most window, then you can use app.focused window. And for our better understanding, let's highlight it. So let's highlight it for 2 seconds. Like we have opened the Chrome, we have opened the Firefox, and we will have Chrome on our frontmost window. So it should highlight our Chrome. Now let's run it. Save and run. It is highlighting the Chrome as it is our frontmost window. So this all are the application function which we can use in our demos and in our cyclic scripts. So now let's move forward with the another class. So the next class is settings class. In settings, through settings we can control cyclic scripts and their behavior. Like we can add delay between key presses, we can add delay to the click, we can add delay to the movement of the mouse. Um, there are multiple methods available to the settings class. The first is show actions. Set show actions, if it is set as true, I mean set as 1, then it will highlight the spot where the action is going to take place. Like if we are going to click on some menu, then that menu is our spot which should be highlighted. Then another method available, that is move mouse delay. So it will add delays to the movement of the mouse. Then another method is click delay. It will delay the next click action. And the last one is type delay. So it will delays between the key presses. Now let's see all these methods in cyclic script. Let's get started with the cyclic settings class methods. In this demo, we will see the different methods like move mouse delay, type delay, click delay, and how to use in the script. So what we are going to do is, let me create one text document, test document. Let's call it test. Now what we are going to do is, we will click on this network, and then there will be some delay of moving the mouse, and then we click on this test. So we will also use the click delay, and then we will open this test, and then here we will see how to use the type delay. So let's implement that script. um, First let's print what is the default move mouse delay. Basically it should be 0.5. You can change it to whatever you want. So let's first click on network. So let me drag a box over network. Then we will set the move mouse delay of 3, and then we will click. Then we will click on test document. So let's take a screenshot of that. So it is set. Now let's first save it, and then now let's run it. It has clicked on network, and then there is a delay of moving the mouse. So delay will be added in the movement of mouse. Now let's comment it and then see again what it is doing. Save and run. See, you can see the difference between without setting the um, this move mouse delay, and with settings of this move mouse delay. So after that, let's add the click delay. Dot click delay. Let's say it is 3. So uh, once this action will be executed, it there is a delay between clicking also. So let's click on another cyclic scripts. So there will be the click delay of 3 between this test to cyclic script. Let's run it. Save and run. In Qlik, we are not able to see properly whether the delay has been added or not. So let's add, double click and see. See, it has opened after some delay. So it is because of the Qlik delay. Now let's open the test only. Let me comment this. Let's open the test only. Let's convert this to double click. And there we will type, there will be the normal type delay. Let me type that also. So we will type in the document that sick leave. Here it will be typed with normal type delay, that is default one. Now let's change this type delay to 2 and then again type. So each letter of this sentence will be typed with 2 of type delay. After clicking on test, let's wait for 2 seconds to ensure that test is opened properly. Let's comment all these things. Let me give it a space. Yeah. Now let's run it. The window has changed, so it was not able to find the test document. Let me navigate to the desktop again and then run it. So you have to make sure that your frontmost window is the current one you are looking for. So here you can see the type delay of 2 has been added. So each letter has been typed with type delay of 2. So this all functions we can use in cyclic scripts to add the readability, add according to our requirement. Now let's move forward with our last class in this module, that is environment. The environment class is used to access the information about runtime environment. Like if you want to know the OS version, if you want to know the sickly version you are running on, then all this information you can use by accessing the environment class. So there are different methods available in environment class. Like if you want to know the OS, on which OS your computer is running or the user's computer is running, then you can use the method get OS. Then get OS version will give us the OS version. Then get sickly version will give us the sickly version installed on the user's machine. Then get mouse location will get the coordinates of the mouse location. You can also check whether particular key is locked on or not. So you can get the status of that respective key, like if the caps lock is on or not. You can also check that whether the user system is Windows, Mac or Linux. So let's see how we can check in CycliX IDE. To access all the environment methods, we have to use n dot and the method name. So let's see on which OS I'm running on. To know that, we have to use the method get OS. And to know the version, we have to use get OS version. Now let's print it. First let's save it. is our environment demo, and let's run it. See, I am running on the Windows system and the version is 10. Now let's see on which sickly version I am using. So let me print that also. Now let's run it. See, I am running on the sickly X 1.1.1. We can also check that whether our user system is Windows, Mac, or Linux. Like we can use this conditions in conditional statements, but as of now, let's print it. It will return the true or false value. Like if I will check that whether my system is Windows, it should return true because my system is Windows. So let's run it, save and run. See, it is returning true. Now, if I will write that whether my system is Mac, then it should return false as my system is not Mac. So it is returning false. Same as Linux. We can check for that. Now, uh, let's see the what is Linux. It should also return false as my system is not Linux. Save and run. See, it is returning false. So this conditions you can put in conditional statements to check whether user system is Windows, then take this actions. If it is MacBook, then take this action. If it is running on Linux, then take some other action. So this is how you can code the cyclic scripts. Now let's see the method um, that is lock on to check whether any key is on or not. So let's see the whether our caps lock is on or not. So we can use caps lock like this, and now let's run it. It should be environment. Right now my caps lock is off, so it should return false. And should be smaller. Please ensure that you have to make this L capital, O capital, and every other thing should be smaller. Otherwise, it will give error. Now, let me on the caps lock and let's run it again. So now it has written true. So this also we can use in scripts that whether the user has on a caps lock, then we have to take the necessary steps, and if it is not on, then we have to take some other steps. So this also we can use in our cyclic scripts for coding. Now if you want to know the mouse location, then you can use this method, that is mouse location, and it will give us the location offset of the mouse. Now let's save it and run. So our mouse is at this place, so it is nothing but the location object. So it is nothing like x and y coordinate. So this is how we can use the environment methods to code our scripts better. Now this is all for module 2.